Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. Andy Ruiz Jr. and Anthony Joshua went face-to-face for the first time in 3 months at the final press conference ahead of their fight in Saudi Arabia, Diriyah, Saudi Arabia, December the 7th. And you can see here on screen the face-off, very intense. Anthony Joshua looking very focused. Andy Ruiz Jr. a cool, calm, collected customer as always. And both look dialed in. And in terms of their statements at the press conference, we'll come to a little bit of a montage very shortly. But it's only just a few days away. Very excited for this one. This is one of the biggest fights in recent memory in the heavyweight division. It really should be a good one. And in terms of other coverage ahead of the fight, I will cover the undercard press conference and preview some of those fights in a separate video. But this one, I wanted to focus on the main event. I'll get to the montage and then a few thoughts and a little bit on the stadium itself, because Ruiz Jr. and Joshua also did a face-off there, so you'll see that running in the background later in the video, as well as some shots from the stadium, which is complete now. They are ready to roll at Diriyah Stadium. In terms of the little montage here, so starting with the trainers, Robert McCracken for Joshua, Manny Robles for Ruiz, and then to the fighters themselves.
Anthony's been training at the British Embassy. He's had his own private facility. He's been able to train diligently and hard. Listen, we know how good Ruiz is. We know he's a real top heavyweight fighter and he's the champion. But we're really happy. We're confident. The whole team's confident. It's a totally different mood going into this fight than it was back in New York. And I think you're going to see the real Anthony Joshua on the 7th for sure.
It's not the same. We're not overconfident. That's why we work hard. That's why we prepare for the challenge. You know, we're taking this fight very, very seriously. We have had and he knows it. Andy knows it. Andy knows how tough I've been on him and keeping him focused and working hard every day in the gym. So, you know, again, we're up to the challenge.
In my own time, I realized that me and Andy are very different, but the only thing that all of us in this room have in common is time. And I keep on saying it because I feel like I just had to use my time very wisely. And as soon as I got back from New York, where I felt that commitment, which I always had, I got straight back into Finch ABC Manager Gym. I didn't lose any heart. I didn't lose any type of fire in my belly. And I started punching the heavy bag, preparing for this day. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. You know, there's no fear in my heart, no fear in my eyes, no fear in my mind. I'm just really looking forward to putting on a show, and I'm confident.
It sure is, man. It's been a long 3 months in camp. We've been training really hard for this moment. Just like June 1st, you know, I made my dreams come true. I made history. And I think the important thing is to remain and make history December 7th here in Saudi Arabia. I appreciate everybody, all the supporters that I have right here. I was surprised at so many fans that I had here, so I was really blessed about that. And, you know, there's really not much to say besides I'm ready to rock and roll. I know AJ's gonna come with a different game plan. I know he's prepared. I know he's motivated. So I think that's what gives me the extra edge of being more motivated, you know, being more cautious. I know he lost weight. I know he's going to try to box me around.
Andy Ruiz Jr. ending that mini montage from the final press conference. And as expected, the press conference itself, it didn't necessarily throw up too many things that were unexpected. But one thing that has been on my mind in recent days, because obviously there's been a lot of interviews in the past sort of week or 10 days with the fighters arriving in Saudi Arabia. And there was a very interesting BBC interview that sort of came out. It was recorded mid-November during Anthony Joshua's training camp. Just the lengths that Joshua has gone to prepare for this rematch. So it's not just the 12 months training camp. As you heard him talk about, he was in the gym just days after the loss for Andy Ruiz Jr. So one of the things sort of bubbling away in the back of my mind, and I'm sure for some of you as well, has Anthony Joshua, has he actually overtrained here? I mean, have they been able to sort of dial, sort of back at points to make sure that he's not overdoing it or didn't overdo it? Because obviously training effectively for 5 or 6 months straight, there is the risk that you can overtrain and maybe that could have some effect on his performance. But I'm sure they've been monitoring that through training camp and making sure that he doesn't overdo it, because he's been saying he's done more sparring. It's been a lot tougher and harder. He's had more sparring partners in the gym. He's been in the gym just a lot more for this training camp. So for his sake, I hope that they have been actually trying to monitor his energy levels and make sure he's got everything to give on fight night, because he will need that against Andy Ruiz Jr. Because Andy Ruiz Jr., very good fighter, projecting the image of confidence that he's ready to roll, he's ready to repeat, he's ready to give Joshua another dose from the first fight, drop him, potentially stop him earlier in the fight. Ruiz Jr., certainly, we know what his game plan will be. He'll be working off Andy Ruiz Jr. He said he knows Joshua will be trying to box more, trying to use his advantages, but it's up to him to make adjustments to make sure that he can break Joshua down and get the win, retain his titles, which is obviously important to him. But Joshua, very steely determination about him at the moment in the lead up to this one. Whether it's repeat or revenge, only a couple of days to find out, but I'm looking forward to this one of the biggest fights of the year, if not in recent memory. How about you? Tell me what you make of this fight. Who wins? How could you take anything from this press conference? And just before we go, so the stadium itself ready, and this is a shot just panning around. It is ready to go. And this stadium, which is effectively a portable stadium, so they've constructed it for this event, but it's reusable, so they'll pack it down. It will take about a month to sort of put away when they've done with it, but it will be ready for future events. So even though it has been purposely built for this one event, it's not just going to be one and done. It's going to be a situation where this will be wheeled out for future big events. And the way that they're talking, especially Eddie Hearn in different sort of interviews, and there was one with Mike Coppinger where he was talking about bringing more big events back to Saudi Arabia. So we shall see what happens on that score. But in terms of the press conference, what did you make of it? The face-off, can you take anything from it? Let me know. Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.